The nerve to be hit with this nuke is insane. Honestly, I'm not even surprised that it's at this point. I'm not surprised. Because if I were to ask you right now, when's the last time you put in a DVD player in any system? In any system. Let's be real. Can we be real? This nuke right here, though, yo, I don't know. I like 2028 though of all of it becoming digital. I mean, you look at the pros and the cons of it. I feel like a lot of companies are looking to save money and making hard copies and making the CD players and knowing that the ones that have those CD little ROM, the RAM thing to put in a CD, a lot of people aren't buying those anymore. I mean, the stats are probably ridiculous on when the last time someone looks. People don't buy CDs so much that folks is thinking about bringing back cassettes. They're like, yo, but let's check this out. Fox got this thing. It's hitting that. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's check it out, man. Let's check it out.
Today that is making all kinds of waves across the video game industry and fans and observers here when they announced today that they're no longer going to make physical games.
That sounds crazy, by the way, though.
PlayStation consoles starting in January 2028. So a big announcement here. We've talked recently about this kind of debate between physical media and digital media, and a big step in this conversation today. And so joining us live now to break this down for us, give us some
I don't think Sony's gonna lose people though for that. Like, if they stop that, I don't think they're gonna lose people. Like, it kind of does force us to go ahead and grab that PlayStation Plus, but a lot of games have the online features. Plus, I believe like what the games being digital, a lot of it almost has to be online to get the DLCs. Unless you are like, yo, I'm going to go back to the store to get the DLC. I really don't see that. I mean, unless you want to say that's optional. But if it's one of your favorite games and it has a DLC, are you willing to go back to the store to go get another CD to do all that, to get the whole thing and pay another full price for the game and the DLC? Like, I don't know.
Pleased to be joined this morning by
I don't know, man.
Adams,
I don't know.
Who is the CEO of Spawn on Me LLC. You may know him from his podcast. Khalif, thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus today.
Thanks so much for having me. Excited to talk about all this madness that's happening in the world of video games and PlayStation today.
It do sound so wild, man, to hear that they're no longer going to have CDs, man. Like,
we saw coming at this point.
I think a lot of folks who have been paying attention and kind of reading the tea leaves have seen that there's going to be a particular kind of change in this space. I think
100%.
With overall sales being down on physical media. And,
absolutely, man.
You know, video gamers now wanting things at their fingertips at all times.
Absolutely. Like, yo, we want things, not the dopamine now of everybody, the delayed gratification of waiting now. For it to come out, not only for it to come out, and we gotta drive and get it. That it's just dead, man. It's so dead. People are like, man, when that thing come out, I want my thing downloading at 12 a.m. Not 12:05, not 12:06, not 12:07, 12 o'clock a.m. I need that thing to be 50%. By the time I wake up, I better be able to play in the morning. That's most people want that, man. Really.
Transition not only easier for the platform holders, but gives a space for folks who are really excited about that digital landscape.
No, straight up though.
Some excitement for them, but the folks who are collectors are looking for.
That's where it's going to hit the nerve. A lot of people that are collectors. But I don't even believe like, and that's if you're a collector. A lot of people now, if all the games that you have on your console right now, let's be real, are you willing to buy all of those games? If Sony was like, you know what, those that want hard copies, every game that's in your library right now that is under the PlayStation Plus that you don't have, You could cancel your subscription, but all those games that you do have in your library, come on through. You could buy them full price at the GameStop or any outlet. You wouldn't do it. You're not doing it. Don't act like you're doing. You're not. Only if you're collectors. Like those collectors, like GTA 6, they tripping for that one. I ain't gonna lie, they tripping for that one. But all the other games, because we never know what games we're gonna want to play or what we're in the mood for. Sometimes we play newer games, sometimes we go back to older games. So, I mean, I think we get a grand deal for some of it. I mean, if we lose them, I mean, that's gonna suck. But it is what it is with some of these games. Because most of the time, some of these games that we do have in our library on a PlayStation, we don't even play. At least I don't.
Dynamic,
especially if I finish them. I really don't play.
Said about the convenience of being able to buy digital, just download it. You know, you don't have to track it down, a physical copy, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you got to worry about it getting scratched up.
Still does seem to be an appetite for.
Because that was like right now too. And look, right now too, you would have to worry about your disc getting scratched up if you got family members, younger siblings, you got pets. And not only if, like, let's say for whatever reason your system, your game console drop, or for whatever reason your game console want to act up, and when those CDs get jammed up in your console, dude, it could put some strong damage. And most of us ain't fitting to replace these consoles, especially now, bro. Unless you got that 800 to drop, bro, you like playing without that disc, man, might be the best bet for a lot of us.
Physical discs, and to have that physical copy. I mean, this was a debate that we were just talking about last week with Grand Theft Auto 6 and that release and some of the
they tripping on that one
though. You know, not being a physical.
That one's a
copy
collector's
like
item.
And so it's an interesting.
Some people might not even play. They might just want to collect
when
it.
You're talking about it being 2026, so much is digital, but still being folks who want that physical copy.
Yeah, folks who are, you know, the biggest kind of conversation around all of this is around what do you actually own? You know, if you're given a digital code for a game, you know, you can't resell that. You know, if you're down on your luck and you're like, hey, I need to trade this thing in, or if you have a friend who just wants to play a thing that you have and they don't own it, you can't do that with a digital game.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken though, can't you trade people games on Steam? I don't know if you could do it with PlayStation or anything like that. They might add that later down the road or something like that. But I know on Steam, I think I seen something that if somebody had a game, you could trade for a game. Therefore, I mean, I guess that's the new school of borrowing. But I don't know. I don't know about.
So
I don't
seeing
know.
this uprising of animosity towards the practice is reasonable for folks who are worried about not only is the digital future going to be real, but there are some concrete actual problems with the ways that digital media gets kind of shared, especially when you think about U.S. infrastructure. Not everyone has great internet, rising costs of what it's going to have for.
And I feel what he's saying with the internet too, man. Not everybody do have powerful internet, but nowadays, so many games have that battle royale, or most of the majority of the games that are like true fun or online. Now, y'all know me, especially with the prices going up for these games, I truly believe that the only games that are worth buying at that 70, 80 high price round is open world games, because you really could go ahead and be soloing it out and ain't got to really worry about anybody else playing with you. But if you're a person that likes that PvP, or you like those battle royales, or you like to play with your friends, digital might be your way to go. If you don't play too many open world solo games, I don't think you really have to worry about the hard copy, to be honest. I mean, like, not too many people play offline. Unless you don't have no internet, then true. But not too many people play offline anymore, at least that I'm aware of.
Electricity. There's so
Unless
many
it's open
different
world.
avenues in where this could be problematic, and it winds up being something that consumers are going to really be worrying about kind of moving in the future.
What does this mean for cost? How do you think we will see this playing out when it comes to the cost of video games? We've seen costs of video games already go up. You know, there have been, you know, there are obviously costs of production to a physical disc, but it also seems like many times these digital copies, you know, retain a higher price longer than maybe picking up a used copy of a game, or even buying a game on, you know, finding it a new copy. Even
that
on
was
sale.
true.
So
now the sales are gonna
for the cost
yeah, that's the hit
games.
we're gonna be taking.
Imagine
That
being
hard
able to
copy,
build
man. The hard copy you was. I seen that one. Somebody did say in the comments on one of the shorts, man, that they used to go always to GameStop or any store. They used to get them strong sales, and you really did. Especially those pre-owned sales was goated. They really were. But they guess that now though they kind of give sales all the time. Especially if you have Steam, dude, you will get like these 60-80% discounts. Between 30 periodically, depending on the company, the gaming company like Ubisoft, and a whole bunch of them. Grand Theft Auto Rockstar, a lot of them. Final Fantasy. All these cats sometimes be coming up with some goated freaking savings, man. But I don't know. That is gonna be a hit right there.
I think the cost is not going down.
Yeah, it ain't going down.
I think one
That's
of the
for sure.
conversations that we thought.
But I think it's gonna push subscription a lot, though. It's gonna push subscription a lot. Because the sale, they're going to be like, okay, well, if you want to buy this game, you could buy it at the highest price, or you could keep paying us monthly. Which, I don't know which one is probably better, honestly. But probably the subscription because you get more
towards
games.
the digital space was happening.
You might get tired of that game.
You'd seen in the PC space, platform holders like Steam and Valve be able to have these huge sales that they would have every year, where you get a pretty big discount on the games that you were looking forward to or hadn't gotten a chance to play. But for consoles, it winds up being a very different landscape where that has never really happened in that space. Prices have been continuing to go up, while also
before I got my PC, man, I didn't know that. First of all, I didn't know certain games even existed, and then on PlayStation, man, they don't be offering nearly as much as what Steam is. And now when Steam comes out with their Steam machine, I mean, I got some hard hits, and people ain't fitting that don't really want to pay $1,000 and don't even get a controller. But I mean, you could use the controller with it. But yeah, man, looking at Steam on with the deals that they give is nuts compared to PlayStation. PlayStation, where they tax on top of tax, boy.
Not having any real avenue for sales in those mediums or in those spaces. So I think, the idea of the $80 game is now going to be the floor, and we may see those prices even go up. I mean, the conversation around what would you have been paying for your games in terms of inflation if you were buying them, back in the day, and seeing how that inflation has grown has been an underlying undercurrent of that discussion. But I think what has now moved into the space is the floor used to be 60, now that's moved to 70, and now it's kind of moving towards 80 as being the thing that you're going to have to spend if you want to play your games these days.
Yeah, we definitely about to be spending a decent buck, man.
Of video games and consoles, is it still even really fair to call a console at this point? When you're talking digital, just a lot of questions about what this means for the investment. I mean, PlayStation 5, which
is it digital cheaper than one with the disc though?
It's still not.
No.
Even years.
I mean, I got the one with the disc. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't put a disc on it since I got it. But I just wanted to be safe.
in an expensive console, whether it's the PS5 or whether it's a future PS6. I mean, what does this mean for that in the future of whether people see the value in doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Your digital hobby is going to be the most expensive hobby if you're a video gamer at this point.
True,
and
man.
I think that's where most of us have landed in this space.
Gaming now is no longer a hobby now. Now gaming is folks' careers. Folks are starting young too, boy, and getting right into streaming. It's a career. That's what they out here selling. They selling the dream of being able to play video games and making a career out of that bad boy.
We've not seen this happen before. Usually the trend is over the life cycle of a console, those prices usually go down, and we've seen the opposite happen where both console makers, both Xbox and PlayStation, have added at least $100 plus to your gaming systems, with now the PlayStation 5 Pro costing around $900 with
the PlayStation Pro is the PlayStation Pro is $900. No way.
In which most folks are, forecasting as being at least $1,000 at the minimum.
I gotta check that out.
I'm probably in that $1,200 camp for where that probably is going to land. So that winds up
storage
moving all of your hobby into a much more expensive space when most folks don't have that much disposable income anymore to be able to kind of lend towards gaming in these ways.
That's real.
With the trend moving, that is not going to be going down anytime soon. It's probably just going to get worse with rising silicone issues, rising RAM because of AI. So many different parts of that ecosystem that are moving in that direction. So it's going to be an expensive time to be a gamer for sure.
No, and that's where it's like interesting, man. Like the companies like Sony and Xbox, Microsoft, and all that stuff. Like, yo, y'all, they gotta remember, you're selling to gamers. Gamers that eat Doritos and juice box, Capri Suns, cereal, Egos, Mom's Basement. Probably not Mom's Basement. That might be. But y'all selling to gamers, man. These gamers nobody's out here really balling like that. You got most people that's going to school, gaming, and some people are addicted to that gaming, but gamers don't make that much money. They cool with the bare minimum, long as they got their game, and we good. And some of them many of them are minimum wage. Like, cats ain't out here that got that $1,000 that, man, cats are living check to check these days. Whoa,
especially concerns over, the lifespan of these things anyway, when it comes to kind of planned obsolescence and things like that. Is it worth dropping that much into it? These are all things that I think are really coming to a head right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, the real answer is, how much are you willing to pay to play? I think that winds up landing the plane there.
That's real.
How much do you really care about the hobby? How much are you, looking in terms of future-facing technology? But what I do think is that what we'll see in this generation, in this gap generation, will be most folks will stay on the platforms that they're currently on and may not potentially move up. We won't see people going to Helix as much as we thought they might be going to. We won't see people going and buying and running out of PlayStation 6, except if you're an early adopter in those ways and really wanting the best kind of tech that will be out there to offer. So yeah, I think a lot of folks are going to stay on platform.
Right here? 2025, 85% of PS5 and PlayStation 4 game sales were digital. See, that's what I'm saying. Don't nobody buy that hard copy. A lot of folks is out here saying like, yeah, I bought a hard copy. I used a hard copy yesterday. Yeah, what are you, 15? What, the 15% that does that? Like, what, you probably gotta, and I'm curious to know what console you have, because if you have PlayStation 4, you're more likely to probably go ahead and put in a disc up in that thing. PlayStation 5 right now, with the price that did that skyrocket, I'm telling you what, you're gonna think twice about putting that CD up in there. Okay, what, just 3% of Sony 2025 revenue came from physical games? Look at that, 3%? Y'all don't want no ownership of these games, bro. If y'all really wanted, that would not be no 3%, man. That would not, and it probably went down lower. 2024, 82% of PS5 consoles sold are disc edition. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I did get me in 2024, but that was a different year. 2025, Nintendo first year where digital sales overtook physical. It's just that era, man. It's just that era that's what these wants, man. Convenience for one. Many want that convenience. A lot of the kids that are playing these games, their parents have to buy their games. Therefore, parents is like, look, I'm not about to drive to no store. No. Can you get it online? We're getting it online because they're paying for it. It is what it is with that, man.
What they're currently playing now, and hoping that some prices go down somewhere down the line, but that won't happen until probably way into the middle or even end of the next console cycle, if it happens at all.
Yeah, man.
It's interesting.
The console prices will go down when gas prices go down, bro. That's when that's gonna go down.
It has changed.
Even with the hard copy, they might bring that back when gas is in about $10.
Selling point for their consoles, and now seeing how little of their revenue comes from physical games. It really is just an interesting shift in consumer habits, you like it or not. I mean, you can't argue with those facts.
No, you can't argue with the facts. I mean, personally, I haven't bought a physical game in a very long time, almost probably in a console generation and a half because of that convenience. But I know so many folks who are in the preservation space are worried about this. Again, the larger discussion about like, what do you own versus what do you not own? And there's a part of it that is, you want to be able to pass some of that stuff down to a younger generation.
That's true.
And say, hey,
that is very true.
Son, daughter, child, here's the things that I used to enjoy when I was your age.
That is true right there. Now that's a true thing right there, because I'll be dang if I go ahead and have, my child and wanting to pass my console down, and I'm out here still paying a $20 subscription and I don't play video games no more. I'll be sick. Yeah. I got that subscription updated and primed up for you, ready. 1,000 games plus in that. But that would be something though right there. 1,000 games just sitting up in your console and you can renew it. Now, if you can, put a lot of those games on in subscription in your library. Now, let's say if you did stop your subscription and then let's say you can't play those games. But then when you re-download or pay back up on your subscription, all of those games come back to life. Now, I think that would be something cool because if you can put 1,000 games up in there, and if it keeps some of them games that they took off the PlayStation Store, but you can still play them because they're in your library, I think that would be okay. To me personally, that's fine with me.
Younger. And those folks may not even have the ability to go do that because the hardware will fail at some point.
That's true.
And we will see some changes in that respect. But I do think this does give a space for Xbox and Microsoft, which has been going through a ton of upheaval and some changes, to kind of maybe decide that they want to go physical in a lot of different ways. And that might be a boon for them specifically.
Yeah, it might be an opportunity
to
for
pull
Xbox.
In parts of their audience in a way
definitely
that
might
they
be an
might have been
opportunity
losing
for
them
Xbox.
with a lot of the changes that we've seen over the past year. So this is going to be a very interesting kind of, new definition of what consoles are going to wind up being, while also giving us new understandings of where the floor and ceiling are going to be for a hobby that we all enjoy.
That's a good point when you're talking about some of these other companies, because do they see this as a way they could differdifferentiate themselves? It'll be
they could, man. They really could actually. I think this is an opportunity for some folks.
In some of those games, the red version of Pokemon and stuff that'll and still play.
We're definitely gonna probably make that transition to go backwards.
And nephews and stuff
we
that.
plan to bring that.
I think there is something to be.
I still can't believe they plan to bring back the cassettes.
We should also note that game developers right now have to go through Sony to get their PS5 discs printed, so there really is no workaround here. If there was a developer who said, well, I still want to publish my game in a physical format, so that I think is an interesting note. Last thing here, because we have talked about this, and even saw last week when it comes to licensing, Sony deleting some digital copies of movies from users' accounts for films with companies they no longer had licensing agreements with. And so I think that's something that's
I didn't know they were moving
for folks, even those who do like to download digital copies, as opposed to physical.
Well, that's a look, man. Opportunity always presents itself, man. If you feel as though that, you want to save some of your favorite movies or even some of your favorite music, probably gaming is probably a little bit different. But if you have a favorite movie, go ahead and try to burn that stuff now. And who knows, probably later down the road, man, Booker Eli style, you might be able to sell some of that thing and get a nice good change for it, like a good buck for it. So yeah, if you are one of those that are afraid that one of your favorite movies, one of your favorite songs, even with gameplay of just rewatching some stuff nowadays, because like I know I'd be watching some gameplay more than I watch TV, of just either watching your favorite streamer or watching that game, no commentary. You save that. Well, at least the most you got is to be able to watch a playthrough of some of your favorite games, man.
Right now, the beginning
or
of
movies
the end
and music
of physical media, or do you think there is still a life for it in the future?
I think there will be secondary markets where folks will find ways to, find some of those medias on aftermarket markets.
Yeah, straight up.
But I do think this is probably the death knell of physical media in so many different ways. We've seen movies go this way. We've seen music go this way.
There's some movies that go into a vault and they lock that thing.
Kind of staying in that space and trying to figure out good ways to give that to players. And this feels like this might be the beginning of the end, or at least the end of the eventual end that we saw coming a couple of years ago. So I'm hoping that folks are able to, on the platform side, find ways to keep people's information safe, because when everything goes digital, that raises the level of potential intrusions for hackers and other things to take your account and potentially do some bad things with those and kind of remove you from
that's right there, man. Probably give you an opportunity in cybersecurity now. Like some folks gonna be going to that probably.
To help those folks who still have their physical games be able to play those things on whatever the next consoles are going to wind up being.
True.
We saw PlayStation already have a modular disk drive that they had with the PlayStation 5. I have a feeling they'll do something similar with the PlayStation 6 and
Yeah, straight
Xbox.
up, though.
Who knows what's happening on that side of the fence yet, because we haven't heard a lot of information just yet about the physical parts of the PlayStation. I'm sorry, with the Xbox Helix yet. So lots of unknowns, but we're getting there, and hopefully we'll have more information to share pretty soon, hopefully.
Well, it's a really interesting conversation to have.
Yeah,
and
man.
with-
Oh, man. That is a nasty nuke, man, of what is happening to the gaming industry, man. It's low-key is sad, man, to know that it's a slowly ending an era where, you know, we went to the store, got the hard copy. But, I mean, we had to see it coming. When was the last time that any of us went to a midnight release? Like, nobody even goes to midnight release for Call of Duty no more. At that point right there, I think that raised a lot of eyebrows right there. That literally the only midnight release that I remember going to was GTA. That was the last one. And right now, if there was a midnight release of a hard copy of GTA 6, people would get hurt, man. People will probably get killed over that game. Like they really would. I just seen a video that a guy, I think, murdered his friend because he didn't want to share his game. Like you could on PlayStation, you could share your game to a friend. He didn't want to share it to him. Took that man's life. Bruh, this is it. What an interesting time, man. 2026 will be a year to remember, man. I can promise you that. Whoa.